Hello, dear students. Welcome to Social Science. Yesterday, we discussed about the discovery of a new sea route to India. Who discovered a new sea route to India? Yes, it's Vasco da Gama, the Portuguese sailor, discovered sea route to India. He left from Lisbon and reached Kapatu near Calicut on the east coast of India. Okay, in 1498. Okay, so this route it continued to be a trade route between India and Europe for many years. So, like this, what happened? The Portuguese were the first to re-establish trade between India and Europe. Now, let's discuss the European trade companies to India. See here what happens with the successful discovery of a sea route to India. The Portuguese were the first to arrive in India. After Portuguese, the Dutch people came. Then after Dutch, French people came. Then after the French, English arrived in India for trading purpose. Okay. So who were the Europeans who arrived in India for the trading purpose? They were Portuguese, Dutch, French and English were the Europeans who arrived in India for trading purpose. So this development not only changed the history of India but it also changed the history of European countries. Okay. Now let's discuss one by one. First we'll discuss about the Portuguese. Okay. The Portuguese were the first to come to India for trading purpose and they were also the last to leave to India by sea route. Okay, they were the first to come to India and they were the last to leave India by the sea route. After Vasco da Gama, okay, after Vasco da Gama, Francisco de Almeida arrived in India as a viceroy of Portuguese. Who arrived to India now? Francisco de Almeida arrived in India as viceroy of Portuguese. Okay. Now, this viceroy, that is Francisco de Almeida, he implemented blue water policy. Why did he implement this blue water policy? He implemented this blue water policy to establish the supremacy over sea routes instead of supremacy over the lands. Okay. So, Alfonso de Albuquerque, he came after Almeida. Almeida after Vasco da Gama, who came? Francisco de Almeida came and he introduced the blue water policy to establish supremacy over sea instead of supremacy over the land. Then after Almeida, who came? Alfonso de Albuquerque came after Almeida. Okay, and he is considered as the real founder of a Portuguese empire in India. Okay, he waged war against the Sultan of Bijapur in 1510 and he won Goa. See, till then, Goa was under the control of Sultan of Bijapur. So, this Alfonso de Albuquerque, he waged a battle, fought a battle against Sultan of Bijapur and he won Goa. Then after that what happened? Goa became the administrative center of Portuguese. Okay, Portuguese in India. The Portuguese had complete power over trade with India for almost a century. Okay, after making Goa as their administrative power, Portuguese had a absolute monopoly, that is a complete power over the trade with India for almost a century. But their power declined with the arrival of English and French in India. Okay, till the English and the French arrived in India, they had a monopoly over Indian trade. But after the arrival of English and French in India, the monopoly of Portuguese started to decline. Okay, now Dutch, who were the second to come to India, the Dutch. Dutch, Dutch, these Dutch people, they are from Holland or Netherlands we call. Okay, they were from Holland or Netherlands. They established United East India Company in 1602. Okay, these Dutch people, they established United East India Company in 1602. Okay, with the aim of doing business with the eastern countries and came to countries like India, Java, Sumatra, and Indonesia. Okay, so they established warehouses in Surat, Bharuch, Kambe, Cochin, Nagapattanam, Masulipattanam, and Chinsura, and other places in India. Okay, so with this, what happened? They broke the complete they broke the complete control of Portuguese in India. Okay, so what they did? They broke the monopoly of Portuguese in India. Later, what happened? They were not able to face the competition from the British and the French. So the Dutch limited themselves to Spice Islands in Indonesia. See, I will repeat it once again. After Portuguese, Dutch people came to India. They were from Holland or Netherlands. Okay. After coming to India, they established United East India Company in 1602 with the aim of doing business with eastern countries and came to countries like India, Java, Sumatra, and Indonesia. Okay, they established warehouses in Surat, Bharuch, Kambe, Cochin, Nagapattanam, Masulipattanam, and Chinsura, and other places in India. So, these people, the Dutch people, broke the monopoly of Portuguese in India. Later, what happened? After Dutch who came, the English and the French arrived to India. So, with the arrival of English and French, the Dutch people were not able to face the competition from the English and the French. So, what they did? They limited themselves to the Spice Islands in Indonesia. Okay. The next are English. On December 31st, 1600 AD, Queen Elizabeth issued a royal charter authorizing the East India Company to trade with the countries for 15 years. Okay, see what happened on 31st December 1600 AD. Queen Elizabeth, she got a permission from the Mughal Emperor Jahangir to start the business. Okay, to start the business in or to trade with India. Okay, so what happened? Queen Elizabeth issued a royal charter authorizing the East India Company to trade with the eastern countries for 15 years. How many years permission did they get? They get the permission for 15 years for a trading purpose. Okay, the company started the business formally in 1613. They got the permission 1600, but they started the business in 1613. The Mughal emperor, he issued a royal permission. It is also called as a farman. Okay, so the Mughal emperor Jahangir gave a royal permission to the English to establish their first warehouse of a factory at Surat. Okay. Then further in 1617, Sir Thomas Roe arrived at the court of Jahangir as a royal ambassador from the court of James I, and he gave permission, he took permission from Jahangir to establish factories in other places of Mughal Empire. First, where did they get the permission? Only to start in warehouse in Surat. But later, when Thomas Roe came to India to the court of Jahangir, he took the permission from Jahangir to start to establish factories in the other places of Mughal Empire. Okay, the English established factories at Agra, Ahmedabad, and Baroch. Okay, in 1639, the English took Madras from the king of Chandragiri. Okay, they took Madras from the king of Chandragiri. Madras was under the control of Chandragiri. Now in 1639, the English took Madras from king of Chandragiri and established a strong fort named Saint George Fort. Okay, now they established Saint George Saint George Fort. Later, Charles II. Later, what happened? Charles II, the Prince of England, gave Bombay on an annual rent of 10 pounds to East India Company in 1668. Later, what happened? The later Charles II, the Prince of England, he gave Bombay as an annual rent of 10 pounds a year, for annually 10 pounds a year to East India Company in 1668. Okay, Charles, the Prince of England, Charles II gave Bombay to East India Company, and in turn, East India Company had to give Charles II the rent of 10 pounds every year. Okay. Then in 1690, what happened? The English purchased three villages. Okay, in 1690, the English purchased three villages. Those three villages were Sultanati, Kalikata, and Govindapura, which were the three villages purchased by the English. They were Sultanati, Kalikata, and Govindapura. And these three villages were on the banks of river Hooghly, and later they built Fort William. Okay, after purchasing these three villages, they built Fort William. Okay, the city of Calcutta grew around this fort. Okay, so after purchasing these three villages, they built Fort William. Then later, what happened? The city of Calcutta, it started to grow around this fort. Okay, by 17th century, what happened? By 17th century, the English had established Bombay, Madras, and Calcutta as the centers of their presidencies. Okay, by 17th century, what happened? Madras, Bombay, and Calcutta became the presidencies of the British. Okay. By later in 18th century, by the later part of the 18th century, English made Calcutta as their capital city. Okay. They implemented their own civil and criminal procedure codes in the areas that were under their control. Okay. What they did in by 18th century, the English made Calcutta as their capital city, and they implemented their own civil and criminal procedures codes in the areas that were under their control. See, which were the three presidencies of the British? They are Bombay, Calcutta, and Madras. Can you see the circles here? Okay, Bombay, Madras, and Calcutta were the three presidencies of the British. Okay, in 18th century, the British made Calcutta as their capital city. Okay, now next is French. French East India Company started as a government owned company in 1664. It started its first factory at Surat in the year 1668. Okay, the French started their factory at Surat in 1668. Later, the first factory was started at Surat. Later, they established their factories in Machilipattanam, Chandranagar, Mahe, Karaikal, Kasim Bazar, Balsore. Okay. And in 1674, the French took Valikandapuram from a local Muslim official. Okay. The French took Valikandapuram from a local Muslim official and developed it as a major trade center. Later, this Valikandapuram came to be known as Puducherry or Pondicherry. What was the early name of Puducherry? That is Valikandapuram. Okay, the French took Valikandapuram from the local Muslim official, and later this place Valikandapuram came to be called as Puducherry or Pondicherry. Okay, now Duplex came to India. He arrived in India in 1746. Duplex arrived in 1746 in Pondicherry as a Governor General of the French. Okay, later what happened in 1746? Duplex came to India as a Governor General of a French, and he had a very high ambitions of establishing the French as the major power in South India. He wanted to make Duplex, he had the ambitions to make the French as a supreme power in South India. Okay, so his ambitions, his high ambitions led to the Carnatic Wars with the English. Okay, so his ambitions were the main reason or the main cause for the breakout of the Carnatic Wars with the English in South India. So, dear students, regarding the Carnatic Wars and the competition between the English and the French, we will discuss in the next class. Okay, thank you and have a good day. Stay home, stay safe.